and welcome to Children's Story House. Every story here is full of magic and heart. So get comfy and let's begin. The Fox and the Grapes. On a blazing summer afternoon, the sun was like a giant ball of fire hanging high in the sky, turning the earth into a sizzling oven. Even the grass drooped, and the cicadas sang restlessly in the trees, as if they too were complaining about the heat. Through the scorching weather trudged a hungry, weary fox. He had been walking for hours with no water to drink, no food to eat. His fur was messy from the dry wind, his tongue dangled limply, and his belly growled loudly. All the fox wished for was a bit of food, just enough to fill his empty stomach and bring back some strength. Just then, the fox froze. Right in front of him was a tall, flourishing grapevine, its leaves spreading out like a giant umbrella, offering shade from the sun. And hanging from the vines, oh, what a sight! Were clusters of round, juicy grapes, glistening like purple gems in the sunlight. A sweet fragrance filled the air, and the fox swallowed hard. This is exactly what I need, he thought, his eyes sparkling with hope. If I can eat those grapes, I will quench my thirst and fill my belly at the same time. His tail wagged with excitement, and in his mind he could already taste the grapes bursting with cool, refreshing sweetness. With his eyes locked on the ripest cluster, the fox stood on tiptoe and sprang upward with all his might. His tail whipped behind him, his neck stretched long, his paws clawing at the air. But the grapes didn't budge. They remained high and still, almost as if they were laughing at his efforts. He fell heavily to the ground, raising a puff of dust that clung to his nose and fur. He sneezed, shook his head, and looked utterly embarrassed. But deep in his eyes burned a flame of determination. No way! I'm not giving up that easily, he muttered to himself. That was only the first try. I know I can do it. I just have to try again. He licked his dry lips, gathered his courage, and prepared for another attempt. So the fox backed up, raced forward, and launched himself into the air, only to fall short once more. The grapes dangled above, shining mockingly in the light. He tried climbing onto a rock to get closer, stretching his paws toward the vines. But the grapes still glimmered far overhead, untouchable. Desperately, he swiped with his sharp claws, but the vines only swayed, making the grapes dance in the sunlight, sparkling even more like delicious treasures just out of reach. Once, twice, 3 times. He jumped until his breath came in quick gasps, his chest heaving, and beads of sweat rolled down through his fur. At last, completely drained, he collapsed onto the ground, gazing up at the shimmering grapes. So close yet impossibly far, his eyes filled with helplessness and irritation. Why can't I reach them? Just a little higher, just a little more, he thought bitterly. Finally, the fox had no strength left. After sitting in defeat for a long moment, he slowly pushed himself to his feet. He looked up once more at the glistening grapes, a flicker of longing flashing in his eyes. The sunset made them gleam even sweeter, as if whispering, "You'll never taste us." A pang of disappointment welled up inside him, but he refused to admit defeat. So he forced a laugh, lifted his head proudly, and said aloud, "Hey, those grapes must be sour anyway. Who would want to eat them? Not me." With a toss of his tail, he pretended to strut away proudly, walking slowly as if he didn't care at all. But if you looked closely, little friends, you'd see that faint, crooked smile couldn't hide the frustration and regret hidden deep inside. And so, dear children, this is the story of the fox and the grapes. The fox tried again and again but never reached the grapes. Instead of admitting his failure, he convinced himself the grapes weren't worth having at all. But the truth is, the grapes were not sour. They were simply out of his reach. This story teaches us an important lesson. When faced with challenges, don't dismiss your goals or make excuses just because you failed. Real courage means being honest with yourself, admitting what you cannot yet do, and thinking of ways to improve. In life, we may also face moments when our dreams feel out of reach, just like those grapes. But remember, if we stay persistent, keep learning, and don't give up, someday we will find our own sweet rewards. So, little ones, always face setbacks with courage. Don't be afraid of failure, and never lose hope. That is how we grow stronger and wiser. Thanks for watching Children's Story House. Don't forget to dream big and be kind. If you enjoyed our story, please give us a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you in the next adventure.